Hello and welcome to JoyRide with your hosts, the Metaphysical Moms, Tiffany and Carrie. JoyRide takes you on a spin through all things spiritual and soulful, including holistic healing, energy work, and personal development. Now, here are your hosts, Tiffany and Carrie.
Hi guys, it's Tiffany.
And it's Carrie.
How are you today?
I'm good. A little frazzled, but I'm good.
Mercury is in retrograde.
That's
I
what
understand.
I heard. You know, but that's always the excuse. You know, it is always, oh, I did that because Mercury's in retrograde. It can't be in retrograde all the time.
Sometimes it feels like it.
Yeah, I know.
But we're excited today. We have joining us via Skype our beautiful friend, our fellow metaphysical mama, Miss Allison Coe. Hi.
Woohoo! Allison's in the house.
Hi, guys. Thanks for having me back.
And you are an international jet lag superstar here.
She's the super trooper. So you woke up this morning at what time? You've been up since when?
12:45 a.m.
Oh, she's been up all night traveling, getting back on U.S. time.
Yeah, she's been out
That's right.
She's been out of the country. Can you say where?
Yeah, I've been in Japan with my visiting family over there with my daughter, my 6-year-old. So we're both jet lagged.
Oh,
But,
kudos to you.
You know, these are really good problems to have. I was thinking about that yesterday. That I'm jet lagged and I'm getting very little sleep because I've been international traveling and I have a radio show to get ready for.
Those are great issues.
These are awesome issues, yeah.
Higher perspective.
Well, we're glad that you came on today because we're gearing up for this big eclipse next week. Next Monday is the big total solar eclipse here in the United States. It's the first time it's happened for 100 years here.
Yep.
It's a relatively rare event for us to have the solar eclipse go all
1918.
All the way across the United States. So in the astrological world, it's a pretty big deal, not just because it's a cool event, but it's a great opportunity for us as a country to really focus and collectively, consciously decide what we want, ground this energy. So we have learned so much from you, from your QHHT sessions, and people that are coming through and talking about the significance of this time, maybe not just this eclipse, but this whole general time of the energy shifting. And they've had some great advice, and you've just taught us so much about how we can be of service during this time. So we wanted to talk all about it.
Well, and I have, for some reason, this really speaks to me. And for me, it is much bigger. It is this portal. It is bringing this energy in, anchoring it to Gaia. It's a piece of the ascension. You know, we all hear about the shift and the new earth, and you were the one that brought that to me and kind of made sense of it all. That was so funny. I don't know. You were on show number 52. So if anyone wants to go back and check that one out, it's great. And it's sort of the story of how we met you also. I mean, someone brought the show to me, your show, and then Tiffany brought it to me, and it was so independent. Oh, I love your puppy. And
he's spreading the word over here about something.
That's funny.
And I love that we're all metaphysical moms, and we're literally we do this in combination with real life, so it's just all blended together. So
absolutely,
he's welcome.
So anyway, so this is I can't wait to hear what you have. I mean, what has shown up for you since we last spoken about this? So welcome.
Yes.
Thank you. I'm so happy to be back, and I'm so happy to kind of push this information out again. You know, I released that video maybe a month and a half ago or 2 months ago about the solar eclipse and the sessions that were coming through that were giving us information about how to prepare. And so I think a refresh is definitely needed right before going into it, what people can do to prepare. So my first question is, what are you guys going to do during the eclipse? Because you represent the mass amount of people that won't be there in the path of totality. So what will you two be doing, and what will your families be doing?
Well, actually, we've actually talked about that, and I get kind of tripped up because I love to put on events, but when I put on events, I go all in, and I want it to be about about the eclipse. I want it to be about the meditation. We have come across Corey Goode. He is doing this mass thing worldwide where everyone can jump in, and I'd like to get to that at some point. But as far as us locally, Tiffany really has some strong ideas about it. So,
well, the first thing is to go electronics free. Like you were saying, just even for a few days, the weekend before, to just go electronics free, get out of nature, turn off the gadgets, the TV, all of the distractions, and just really be still, be quiet, simple. I want to go real simple.
Yeah.
And then on Monday, we're just going to gather. We're just going to gather with our friends and family and just raise the vibration as high as we can with the intent to bring that beautiful energy down to earth. And for me, it's all about intent.
Yeah.
And when we collectively, I don't think we understand the impact that when we collectively intend something, it becomes real for us. Right. And we can unconsciously kind of let things come at us, but when we consciously intend and choose something and focus on it and create that internally and do it within your own world, I think it just impacts the world. And this energy is bringing it to us. So, and I know that there's a lot of group things going on, but even if you just do it on your own, you don't have to be in the little specific path of totality for this to impact you anywhere. I think it's the whole collective country. Just as where we are in the world, there's so much. Okay, I could talk forever. I'm gonna let you talk because I'm.
What are you doing?
I think the most important thing is that you guys are spot on with your instincts. Carrie, you want to celebrate the eclipse, but you also know that would put you in a mindset of not really getting you cleaned out the way that you need to be cleaned out for the several days beforehand. Instead of preparing for a party and really having your conscious mind going, preparing for a big blowout party. No, you realize that you want to celebrate this in a different way. And Tiffany, you're right on too. Just kind of unplugging. Unplugging is absolutely necessary. Unplugging from social media. Unplugging from the fear matrix of the news and from the internet. You just have to be kind of separate and clean your body out from all this kind of junk that's coming in from everywhere. Because people are really, even up here in Oregon, the state transportation department is really fear-mongering people, stay home, don't be on the roads, all this stuff. And it's like, yes, that's really going to affect people's mindset about traveling and going to their places, wherever they're going to watch the eclipse and coming home, and they're going to have anxiety about it and they're going to have fear. No, we don't want any of that. Yes, people are going to be on the road. Yes, people are going to be out. But guess what? They're all going for the same thing.
Yeah.
So we need to keep that in mind. Everybody that you see out there who is trying to experience this eclipse, be grateful for them, because they're helping anchoring this energy too, just like you are. They might be doing it for entertainment. They might be doing it for separate reasons, but they're going to be a part of that anchoring, whether you know it or not. Yeah. So that's huge.
I'm laughing because you guys are actually talking about this, and maybe it's because I don't watch the news, but here in Texas, I'm not really even sure. I'm not sure that it's even made the news.
Oh yeah, it's been on the news. It's been in the paper.
I don't watch the news,
and they are talking about the traffic going to the path of totality. I have a visual aid. I'm going to show real quick. Hold on.
Home Depot. I got this at Home Depot.
So it's a big poster with where there's like a 70-mile stretch of where the sun will be completely blocked out, and then the different varying degrees of. I think we're down here like in the 70% down here in Texas. I'm pointing to Texas.
Oh, wow.
Where we are in like the 70% swath of it.
Show the back of that. You can, by the way, you can get this at Home Depot.
Well, it's all online. You just go to any of the websites, put in the 2017 eclipse, and you can see that, it's going to start like it'll start in Oregon like at 9 a.m.
Salem. Mm-hmm.
And then about 10:15, 10:17 will be the total eclipse, and then it'll end at 11:30. So it's a several-hour window of as it moves across the country.
And it ends down right around
way down here in Charleston, South Carolina. So theirs will be starting at 1 and ending at about 4. And here in Houston, our totality, we're at about 75%. We'll be at about 117.
And by the way, do not look at it unless you have the special eyewear, because it can burn your retinas. I mean, if you stare at it.
Absolutely.
And I also wanted to say that okay, so there is this, and I will give you guys links for all of this. In doing this research, different information has come to me, and starting at 11:11 West Coast time, so that's Pacific time, they are starting this big mass meditation, and it is at the peak. It's the peak of the energy, and from what I understand, it's when astrologically everything lines up. So there's a portal, and the energy is the strongest going out through the portal, and I'm curious, like, who receives it and what that actually means, which I'd love for you to weigh in on that. But so there are different websites that that kind of help you kind of guide with the intent of what we're trying to do here. So what do you think about that?
Oh, I think it's so wonderful. Basically, what you're talking about too is like Corey Goode, his went in cahoots with Cobra, and then prepareforchange.net and stillnessinthestorm.com. So Corey Goode with Sphere Being Alliance and Cobra with 2012 Blogspot. They're all actually going together to be involved with this mass meditation and get all of their followers on board to create this kind of tipping point for humanity. And I think it's absolutely wonderful. So on the West Coast, so yes, like you said, it happens at 11:11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. So on the West Coast, that's after the actual total solar eclipse for us. But that's okay, because it's still happening in the middle of the U.S. and on the East Coast of the U.S. So it is at a time where a portal is opening up. So I think anybody around the world who can actually tap in during that meditation will actually be creating so much change, so much power. So yes, piggyback on that if you can. And if you're like me and you're in the path of totality and it's during the eclipse at 10 a.m. or 10:18 a.m. or something like that, meditate at that time as well. But tap in at that 11:11 a.m. time and get on the tail end of that. Be a part of that huge mass meditation. I think it's so wonderful that everybody is joining forces for this to create the change that we want to see in the world.
Which for you, what does that mean? What is the change?
Well, the change is it's anchoring in that beautiful love energy that is coming with this eclipse. So this unconditional wave of love that's coming in, that tsunami of love that's coming in. Well, if we don't anchor it in, it's just going to skip right by. So it is imperative of us to kind of anchor it in and pull it down through our chakras, through our body. So we need to be open, we need to be clean, and as they said in my QHHT sessions, as I said in many of them, we need empty vessels to pour this energy in. So not full of junk, like we were just talking about, not full of news, not full of fear, not full of junk food, not full of social media conversations, not full of any of that stuff. We need to be empty vessels for them to pour this love in, anchor it to the world, and then we'll start seeing that love spread out. We'll be carrying this new energy with us, and we will be a part of that change. Now, for some people, they're ushering in another change, and that is disclosure. They want to see disclosure happen, and that's great. I think anybody who wants to see change of any sort, a positive change, should actually tap in. So that's what I see, and other people see something different. But
now,
yes,
when you talk
anchor in this new energy.
Sorry to interrupt. When you talk about disclosure, it's disclosure of the way governments are run. It's disclosure of extraterrestrial life that is influencing and helping and guiding us? It's a lot of forms of disclosure. Or is there one particular disclosure you're speaking of?
No, it is exactly that. It is exactly that. Who has been helping us all along, who we really are in the grand scheme of things, what kind of energies we have available to us, and what's being hidden from us. Right. Carrie sent me that interview with Corey Goode, and he was talking about, what I really want to see is these free technologies being released to the world, because there's no reason for us to be destroying the world like this. So disclosure of that stuff as well, disclosure of who we're in alliance with, disclosure of the secret space program, all of this stuff should happen.
It's big. I mean, the first time I kind of tapped into this, it actually kind of scared me a bit. And because it was so foreign. I mean, it was very Star Wars and very, very like 2001, Odyssey 2001. Apparently that's very much based on a lot of this. And it was kind of freaky, because it does turn your world upside down. But now I'm in a place where it's like, bring it. I mean, you start, well, really, my not whole adult life, I'd say for the last 5 to 10 years, something just doesn't click. Something's not right. And I could never put words to it. And when I tried, it came out so sideways and upside down that I sounded like a nut job. And it just, I don't know. I've been given these pieces to this puzzle that has finally taken form, and so I would love to see that. And I think change is, because you always have the opposing force, right? And so that doesn't really want the change, and because things are the way they are, and change kind of scares folks. And so anyway, so that would be interesting, I think, as well. But okay, so in our last show you had discussed the 3 waves, and this is wave number 2. Do you have any more insight on wave number 1 or 3?
Well, here's the thing. I've had a lot of questions about wave number 1, and during the actual sessions, we have a time limit. And so when I'm getting information from clients, I can only keep them under for 2 hours. So when I'm getting information from clients about something so fascinating as a tsunami of love coming in and all this stuff, and this being the second wave, I'm actually going to focus on the third wave and when that's coming in and what the second wave has to do, rather than go back to the first wave and ask questions about that, because it's already happened. Right. So I'm not going to, so that, I had to really think about, why didn't I ask about that? Oh, because I have a freaking time limit, and I'm always trying to get more and more information that could be beneficial to all of us, rather than kind of going back and just getting, information that people trivial information that people want to know. No, I think going forward is the most important. So they said that it was, so timelines are always an iffy thing, and I've only posted timelines because they've come through sessions, multiple sessions, and these aren't my timelines, they're other people's timelines, so I have a little bit of freedom from because it's not me saying this stuff, it's other people saying this stuff. Okay, so during these sessions, a couple people have said that the third wave should come around December, right around the solstice time. So that's only a couple people have said that, and I usually like to post it if more than 3 people say the same thing. So that's the information I've gotten, is that the third wave should come around the solstice, December 21st, 2017.
So you get this from multiple people. I mean, you put them under, and their higher selves, basically, or universal consciousness comes through. And are they talking to you specifically, or are they talking? How does that work?
Yeah, they're talking to me. So I'm the one asking. So basically, the client arrives with a list of questions, and I take that list. And while they're hypnotized, I'm asking them their list of questions. And they've gotten to the point where we've gone through a couple past lives, so they're deep enough that I can call forth their higher self, and then I'm asking them their list of questions. So their higher self is answering me. and then it's all recorded. And so the higher self talks about them in the third person. Like, we're always telling her this stuff, or she's not listening to us. I hear that over and over again. So the higher self is definitely another entity coming in and talking about this person's life, what they can expect, and giving us the information that they're curious about. So yes, this is not my sessions, so I'm not asking my own personal questions or stuff I'm interested in. I'm dependent on the client to actually ask this stuff, because they're paying money for this, so It's not my session. I can't hijack it. So this stuff is coming through because of the client asking about it.
Okay. I kind of saw them saying, okay, and Allison, while we have you on the line, we want to tell you this. And so I was wondering if somehow there was a collective body that they're trying to put info into.
That would be really cool if they did that.
Yeah, wouldn't it?
You have to ask. That's the whole point, right? Yeah. Ask and it's given. You have to ask the questions.
That's right.
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
You are, we have just had so much feedback and so many questions. And I know one person asked us, because we kind of put out a call asking if anyone wanted to ask you something. One big one that I've heard over and over is, if you can't actually, like, if you're in a job and you can't sit in a still place during the eclipse, how can you capture the intent somehow and put it somewhere? What do they do? How can they add and still be a part of it?
Still be busy during the day.
Okay, that's a great question. So definitely we want to do the preparation. That person would want to do all the preparations leading up to the eclipse, the cleansing, clearing of the chakras. If they know about their chakras, clearing out the chakras. Basically, that is going from your crown chakra all the way down to your root chakra and focusing on spinning them to the left and clearing them out, releasing anything. There's some great guided meditations on YouTube that they could just sit down, stop, drop, and meditate, and sit down and do those several days beforehand. And just kind of clean their system out. Like I said before, get rid of the junk, get rid of the social media, get rid of the junk food, stop feeding yourself stuff. Then you have to go to work. Tiffany hit the nail on the head with saying, your intent is everything. So just intending that you are going to be receiving this energy throughout the day, throughout the solar eclipse time. You're not going to be filling your head during your work time with more junk. You're not going to be putting too much. I'm sorry, my words are escaping me because
I'm tired.
I've had zero sleep. But putting too much emphasis on your egoic conscious mind, the mind chatter, trying to slow that mind chatter down as much as possible during your work time. I know that's so hard, but that'll actually keep that open, keep that crown chakra open for that energy to come through. So if you can, slow down your mind chatter during that time and just put that intent out. I'm going to be an empty vessel for this love to pour in. And I'm going to feel
even
it,
while I'm doing
and
my
I'm
work.
going to anchor it.
Well, no.
While I'm working, while I'm waitressing, while I'm doing accounting, while I'm doing anything, while I'm doing construction work, anything like that, you can do it.
It's a good mindfulness
You're
practice.
Part of this.
Yeah.
Well, and I don't know if I read this somewhere. I don't know if you and I discussed this, but we can't encapsulate it because really, if there's no such thing as time and space, then couldn't we sit before? Couldn't we wake up that day and sit before and say, okay, all right, guys, I'm putting this little gift box in the ethers, and when it comes by, I want you to grab it. I mean, can't we intend something like that? I know it sounds goofy, but could we?
I think that's a great idea. It's like these energies come before and they come right after the event. So it's not just open during the time frame. These eclipse energies are going to be available right beforehand and right afterwards too. So that's a great idea. You can actually, tap in beforehand or tap in afterhand. And like you said, kind of put that little gift box up there. Hey, fill this up or release something or whatever.
Put the funnel in my head.
I think that's a great idea.
Yeah, I want a funnel.
Just
right
like
there.
You guys mentioned Mercury retrograde earlier, and we're told, well, one of my favorite astrologers, Kelly Rosano on YouTube, she's awesome. I've been listening to her for years, but she's always talking about these energies will affect us several days in advance and several days after Mercury goes direct. So the same is with the solar eclipse. These energies are going to affect us before the actual event and after the actual event. So it's not just that little window. If you're busy during that time, tap in beforehand or tap in afterhand. But also put that intent out. Put that intent out that during the event you are going to be flooded with this energy, and you will be. It's available to everybody on Earth, no matter where they are, no matter what they're doing. It is available, and you are key to the process. You are absolutely key to anchoring this love on Earth. You are a huge part of it. Everybody is. Not just the people who can be in the path of totality, not just the people who have the luxury of being able to meditate, stop, drop, and meditate during the middle of the day. No, everybody is key to this happening and being successful.
All over the world.
Because all over the world, everybody, people in Turkey. I've had people in Turkey reach out and say, we want to interview you, or we're interviewing people because we want to hear how important mass meditation is during the solar eclipse. So there are people in Turkey who are actually paying attention to this. It's not going across Turkey, no, but they're clued into how important this is. So that is thrilling to me.
Okay, so
absolutely thrilling to me.
Brooke, that was actually Brooke's concern. So Brooke, I hope that you got everything you needed from that.
That was Brooke's question.
And if you need us to expand on that, just write us back, write in.
I'm going to do a quick say hi to all the folks that are joining us on Facebook Live. Hi to Shelly. Hi to Madeline. Pamela. Madeline works at Home Depot, so yay, go get your poster for Madeline at Home Depot. Hi, Carrie. Thank you for sharing. Melanie, Donna, she's from Kentucky. Sarah. Hi, Sarah Kajawa. Good morning. And Nick. These are all our friends that are joining us. And so if you have any questions, guys, as you're listening for Allison, just type them on in here and we'll shout them out, because this is just an amazing opportunity, regardless of the event that's happening, for us to all focus on love and peace. And instead of pushing against any particular politics or group, let's focus on what we want.
Right.
And this is a great opportunity. This love is always available to us, but this event is getting all of our attention to look up. And I hear that people who are in the path of totality, when you see the sun blacked out in the middle of the day, it's everybody that says there's nothing like it. It puts you in a different perspective of the world, of your place on the planet. And for people who can see the solar flares coming off the corona, it's a pretty magnificent once in a lifetime event. And I think it helps show us who we are. It shows us how powerful we are, how beautiful this planet is. So being here to anchor this beautiful energy is my sound on? We can hear some feedback somewhere. So this path of totality, this eclipse event, it is happening in the United States. So if you're tuning in wherever you are around the world, just join us. Join us at whatever time you can to soak this energy in. Our friend Heather Huff, she talks about us being little lightning rods. Mm-hmm. You know, the trees are lightning rods and ground the energy. And we're clearing trees. We're cutting down lots and lots of trees that are helping to hold this energy, this earth grid, so we can be that. We can be this little vortex of light.
And that's what I keep hearing, is that it's about the grid. It's about strengthening the grid, the Earth's grid. And that's what we're trying to do. And we had another question, and I love this. They were talking about, by the way, that was really well said.
Thank you.
They were talking about the ascension, and we're talking about these different blasts. And I want to say one thing. So I've been piecing this, and I want to know if you look so sleepy all of a sudden. Your eyes.
We are watching Allison on Skype, but she said no video today. So you're getting a beautiful still shot of her on our Facebook Live. Yeah.
Well, okay, so I was trying to put this all because I heard that it did very much dovetail with the eclipse, the ascension, and David Wilcock talks about. I love his work. His work really resonates with me, and I never talked. That was so funny. Anyway, so he was saying that there are over 35 ancient civilizations, basically.
Well, thoughts, philosophy, religions, kind of.
So Judaism, Jainism. I don't know what that is. Jainism, Buddhism. Christianity, Hindu. All different groups. They think that we are in these cycles of 25,000 years, and they end with a big energy wave that helps us to ascend. And that, and I love what he says. He says that what is ascension? And he says the spontaneous evolution of the human being into a higher form. And if you want to get to what that means, you have to look at things like Christ consciousness, kind of what that ends up looking like. Buddhism, the different ascended masters. And so, I don't know how that happened. Somebody wanted you on.
We're getting some sound feedback.
All of a sudden, it turned
the
weird. Volume back on. I didn't touch it. Anyway, so I just think that's beautiful. And so, how do you think this relates to the ascension and the new Earth?
Well, I think with regards to the solar eclipse energies, or with regards to what David Wilcock is saying.
Well, are they? Do you think they're exclusive of each other, or do you think they're hand in hand?
I think they're hand in hand. I think they're getting us ready. I think these waves of energy are getting us ready to make the jump. And each wave, so if we look at each of these waves of unconditional love coming to the earth, as mentioned in my sessions, there's been one wave already, and then the second wave is the solar eclipse, and then another wave will come. They're getting us ready because what we want to do is have as many people as possible making this leap in ascension, in evolution. And so these waves are preparing the earth and preparing the people to go. So they're lightening our load, they're raising our vibration, getting us prepared for this actual blast that's going to be coming, which is totally different, the supernatural event, or, the 25,000-year cycle that David Wilcock is talking about. It's getting us ready to actually make that huge leap forward. So we need these waves to prepare us, to cleanse us, to get us bright and shiny and raise our vibration. So they're not uniquely exclusive. They're actually part of the preparation and getting us to make that leap.
Wow. That's fantastic. Nick has just typed in a question. So, Nick, we're going to ask this. I've heard that this event, the eclipse, is set to do a reversal of the reptilian event eons ago. Will be released from reptilian mind to the full human consciousness. And do you have any thoughts on that?
Good question, Nick.
Well, let's see. I think... we have been tampered with, as humanity has been completely tampered with by many different species, and so what these events are doing is getting us kind of unwinding the damage, if you will. So cleaning up the pieces and putting us back together, making us whole again. So getting us prepared for this leap. So I would say yes.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard
That's exactly what it's doing.
It's kind of mind-blowing, really, on the scheme of things, because we live in such a 3D world, and we pay our bills, and we go to work, and we watch this, we live in a small world. But when you back up and you see what potentially is really going on here and what's been going on, it's who could ever be bored?
I know,
so
seriously.
Much
the real story is better than anything that we could make up, I think.
There's so much to see.
It's better than Game of Thrones. It's better than The Walking Dead. This is a story of us. and we're actively participating in it. We're watching it unfold as we speak.
Well,
oh, I lost you guys. Are you still there? Well,
we've dropped
I
your
guess
video.
you guys can still hear me.
Oh, yeah.
We can see you. We're trying to
hear
get you back here on video so we can see your pretty face.
Well, okay.
But yeah, isn't this so fascinating to watch this all play out, to know that Carrie and Tiffany, you each have a role to play in this ascension process, to know I have a role to play, to know Brooke has a role to play, to know all these people out there, they have a role to play in this. And that's just amazing to me.
Well, and I think that's why we came. I think that's why we decided to come at this time, as to be a part of this, to have a front row seat at this incredible.
Sorry, I mean to cut you
off. Event.
Every person on Earth chose to come at this time to play a role in this. Well, every single person.
And we're so supported. That's what I love. Is that there are people all around us that are like, come on, you can do this. Here, let's. I mean, they can't interfere, but they can.
But if we
help
ask
us
for
individually,
help?
if we ask, they can. That's exactly right. And I have, and I have to touch on this, and I don't really want to go down this road so far, but there was a question posed on one of the audios saying, we are all of the light workers, light warriors, and we're pulling this energy down for light. Someone asked, will the flip side of that be there are some folks pulling it down for nefarious reasons or yeah,
absolutely.
So that's why we have to get our numbers up. It's about
Right.
It's a numbers game.
Yeah.
But again, I don't push against anybody. Just my learning from the law of attraction is don't resist or push against anybody. Just focus all your attention on what you want and where you're going.
Exactly.
And there's your reality will become what you want. So they may have a parallel reality where the nefarious group wins. But if I know that sounds crazy, but if we focus on where we're going and bringing in this light, we can create it.
On that, someone said that that Nostradamus had, he said that in, I think it was 97, the West Coast was supposed to fall off into the ocean and all this stuff. And well, obviously that didn't happen. But they were saying that these timelines, these dual timelines, are so strong that there are people that could live in that timeline. And I mean, Bobby could live in a timeline where, the West Coast falls off. Bobby's our producer.
Bobby's not looking very happy about that.
He's doing the one eyebrow.
Don't go to L.A. anytime soon, Bobby.
I'm going to L.A. in August.
Oh, great.
Oh, no, never mind. Never mind, Bobby. You're in my timeline.
Say the East Coast.
East Coast, not the West Coast. No, but it is, I think that's phenomenal to think that's part of the ascension is what vibration you live in, what reality you live in. And actually Sam, my friend at the grocery store that I shop with, he was telling me, he said, gosh, this news is just killing me. It is this, all this stuff happening and it's negative and what's going on in Korea and I was like, dude, you got to get out of that. I was so addicted to that nonsense. I mean, I listened to, some pretty fear-mongering folks, and I felt so much better when I pulled out, and I realized that, at least my thought is, that I just can't stay in that fear. I can't. It's not that I bury my head in the sand. It's just, I prepared for swine flu. I prepared for avian flu. I prepared for Ebola. I prepared for all these different things that obviously never came to pass, at least not in my world. And finally, I'm done. I'm off. You've ruined it. Next time something big comes down the pike, I'm not going to be prepared, and that's okay. And it is. But when my fifth grader looks at me with big tears in his eyes because his buddies had all talked about Ebola, and he says, Mom, when will you pull me out to homeschool me? How many people in Houston have to get it before you'll pull me out? I mean, he was terrified. That's when I'm like, dude, I'm out. We're not doing this. It's not going to happen to us, honey. And we won't even have a game 2 in place because it's not going to happen. And that's when I realized that there are folks that feed off the fear. And that's a terrible state to try to maintain. It's a difficult state to maintain. All right, so
yeah,
that's all I have to say about fear.
It's death by 1,000 paper cuts, that's for sure. It keeps us really weak.
Yeah,
I love that.
We cannot see the forest through the trees when we are constantly faced with new fears.
Right.
And it week after week after week. What do we need to fear this week? What do we need to fear this week? No, and all this stuff is going on, probably is going on, could be going on, but what's going on right now in your world? That's what we need to focus on. What's going on in my world right at the present moment? Am I in danger right now? No, I'm not. Okay, so what can I be doing? What should I be doing? Focusing on actually helping people, focusing on love, focusing on being a light in the world rather than something dark and something fear-based in the world. So yeah, we have to retract our focus from that stuff. So I'm so glad you gave that advice to your supermarket buddy.
Oh yeah, Sam is lovely.
It's so valid.
It's
so necessary.
So I know, and I'll drop this. Well, I say that I may not, but I know that every time the vomit bug, somebody in my general vicinity got it, I freaked out. My stomach started to hurt, and I always got it, always.
Oh no!
And then finally, I said, "I'm done. Body, we're not doing this." And I've not gotten it since. Knock on wood. I've not gotten it since. And so it was almost like I drew it to me, and I finally just said no.
I believe in that 100%.
Oh yeah, yes.
Well,
Tiff's son
yeah,
came
it's
home
your
from China,
intention.
with the flu, and I talked to her. I mean, can you imagine coming home from China on the plane with the flu? And so I talked to Tiffany, and she said, I'm not really feeling all that great, but you know what? I'm going to kick this. Like, you're not getting it. She's like, I'm not getting it. You didn't get it.
Did not get it. Nobody did. Nobody else did. It was fantastic.
That was fantastic. Okay.
Yeah, that's pretty amazing.
Do you want to try to Skype me back? I'm trying to Skype. I like seeing you when we talk to you.
We've lost our video feed with you, but that's okay. We can still hear you. We're saying hi to our Facebook. Thank you for joining us, guys. Thank you for taking a minute out of your day to hop on over here and watch us live. This is all...
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, this is all unfolding. It's happening. This eclipse, we've been talking about it for a long time, and it is coming up next week. So this is a great time for us to get our ducks in a row. And Nick is saying there's a 49% negativity polarized and 51% positive polarized. So we've tipped. We're tipping the scales. I've heard that many times, that the scales are tipping toward love.
And light is stronger than dark.
Yes.
So...
Absolutely.
Okay, so we have a question from Greg. Do you have that pulled up? He had a two-part. It was more of a quantum healing question. He had a two-part question. Here it is. Okay.
Your son asked, "Are you human?"
Oh yeah, my son wanted to know if I'm human. I said, I hope so, because you're my son. All right.
Well, and Angelia says you're her spirit animal.
Yes.
Thank you.
Oh.
Okay, so this one's from Greg, and two-part question. This is more about QHHT, and is it similar to Brian Weiss's regression hypnosis? And how, when you are under, how can you tell if you're truly hearing from the higher self versus somebody just kind of using their imagination or purposefully making something up? In other words, how can you, as a practitioner, tell the difference between the higher self and the ego? And
that's the age-old question.
Yeah.
Okay, so part A is, yes, it is very similar to what Brian Weiss does. He's actually taking a person through a past life and then reaching higher entities. Now, I don't know if he's actually having a client show up with a list of questions that they're seeking answers to that he then asks the higher entities. I'm not sure if he does that. And so might be a little bit different there, but yes, it's basically, to me, it's very similar. And I was familiar with Brian Weiss before I was ever familiar with Dolores Cannon, and it struck me as like two prongs on the same fork. Like they were doing very similar things, and it was available to them. It became available to them right around the same time too. I think they both stumbled across these techniques right around the same time.
And many
so
lives.
Obviously, Pardon?
I was
Go
saying
ahead.
Many Lives, Many Masters by Brian Weiss is a great book to start if you're beginning your interest or your spiritual path. It's a great eye-opening book. So just as a little quick side note.
Oh, God. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. It's wonderful. It's such a good read, and it's an easy read, and it's entertaining. And I think I reread it 3 different times because at first I was paying attention to the past life stuff, and the second time I was paying attention to the information that was coming through from the masters about what we're here for, what human beings are here to do, and all this stuff. It's a wonderful read. I definitely recommend it.
Thank you.
So the next answer to his question, how can we tell that we're not just talking to the ego versus the higher self? Well, the information, this comes with training and discernment. So the longer a practitioner does this, the more they're aware of when the client isn't deep enough. And we might have to take them a little bit deeper. We might have to lob a couple softball questions at them because the conscious mind is still there. It's always still there during these sessions. And if we ask a question that is too close, too personal, too strong for them, like something that they really desire an answer to, like it's really affecting them. If we ask that question straight out of the gate, the conscious mind will bob up to the surface and try to stop the answer. So what I like to do is lob some softball questions, like easy, funny questions that the client wants to know. Ask those first and get the conscious mind more relaxed and the higher self answering, getting that stream of consciousness going, and then start asking the tough questions, the hard questions, the questions that the conscious mind doesn't really want to hear the answers to. A portion of them does, a portion of them doesn't, because it's scary. It's scary for them to know this stuff. So I can tell by the way they answer the question if it's the ego or not. But then that's me. I can tell this stuff. But for the client, it's all about trust. On their end, they have to be able to trust that what they're hearing is actually actual truth. Now, the higher self is connected to them all the time, every day, since throughout their whole life. And so the higher self sometimes does give them answers if they just listen. And so they might feel that they already know some of this stuff. Well, because they do, because their higher self has been trying to give them this information. So on some level, they might feel like they already know it. It might feel familiar to them. But on another level, they're trying to fight this information from coming through. So it's always an interesting battle. So when the higher self does come through, they're like, we've been trying to tell him this all along, or we've been trying to give him guidance on this all along, but he's not trusting this information. He's not trusting that he's powerful enough to get this information, but we're giving it to him all along. So it's all about trust. And if an answer comes and it's fear-based, it is not your higher self. I can tell you that right now. If the answer comes and it's bigger and it's higher and it's a high vibration and it's from love, then that's your higher self. It's very different than your ego boiling over something in fear, kind of rolling it over and with anxiety and stuff like that. No, your higher self doesn't have any of that.
Well, and I think
they just know. Oh, go ahead.
No, I'm sorry. I love that answer because I think that is something we are so programmed to seek out the expert. So if you say it, it must be true. But if I get it, I'm not. I'm going to question it. I'm going to discount it. So I always suggest start with something small. Ask a question and ask your higher self or your team, your guides, in which you are part of that team, and then ask to be shown. And that, for example, the night that I told my guides, I said, I'm done. I'm ready. Whatever it is I came here to do, I'm ready. But I want a sign that even I can't miss because I need 10 signs before I'll actually think it's true. And the next day, I know I've said this 1,000 times, but the next day I had the tetrahedron with an eye, this triangle with an eye in my cabinet reflecting off my plates, my Fiestaware. And I've had them forever, and I've lived in the house for a long time. And I mean, I couldn't discount that. And so you kind of start small, and you build that trust that you don't have to call, 100 psychics. You don't have to. You have it inside yourself. Now, that said, I am going to come see you. I do want to come see you because I would love to have a session with you.
Session. Oh, yeah, we need a road trip.
I think we're going to fly.
Man.
That's too far.
Okay, this dovetails.
I would love for you guys to come here for a session. That would be amazing.
So much fun.
This really dovetails to James's question, and he's saying there's a lot of contradictory views and opinions in the spiritual community. Is it best to tune out the outside opinions of various YouTube experts and leaders and focus on your higher self? So many people seem sincere and well-meaning, but everybody can't be right. It's maddening. A lot of different opinions of how it should be done. Realities. So yes, I think you're right on about you go to you.
Right.
Yeah, 100%. The answer, you go to you. 100%.
No.
And if you can always listen to somebody else's opinion and take away a certain percentage of what they say. If it feels like truth, then take that percentage away as truth and just get rid of everything else. You don't have to believe 100% of what everybody says. My father told me that, and it's been true my whole life. You don't have to believe 100% of what everybody says in order to believe them. You can take a portion of what they say, whatever strikes you as truth. Use your own discernment and take that away. But always go to yourself first. We're in that age now where we're opening up to the truth that we have God flowing through us. I know that's going to strike some people as weird and blasphemous, but no. We are portions of God on this earth. We all are. The trees are, the plants are, the earth is, humans are, the animals are. We are little portions of God. We have that connection. We don't need gurus. We don't need psychics. We don't need mediums to answer these questions for us. All we have to do is connect to ourselves, tap in, open ourselves up to the answer, stop talking in our heads, and let the answer flow through us.
Right. True that.
And Carrie, I think that was you talking because I can't see the video, but I'm pretty sure you were talking when you said, "Oh crap, I just lost the thought." But
it sounded really true.
It sounded really good. Whatever you just said, damn it.
Well, it was just about going to within yourself and then starting with small bites.
Starting with small bites, yes. That's exactly what I was talking about on the QHHT side. It's like we start with lobbing these softballs. It's like nothing hard, nothing scary, nothing crazy at first. No, you start with the small stuff. Start checking in with yourself on the small stuff, and getting small signs, and then start with asking for the bigger things. If you're just starting out to connect to your higher self.
Well, I think
start out like that.
Start small and grow, and that's and just build your confidence because
trust. What does it hurt to trust? If you're going to trust the psychic, why not trust yourself?
Well, exactly. And it saves you a lot of cash too. So I think I say that, but we have a lot of friends that are they're really gifted and they're amazing. So going back to the big mass 11 o'clock. 11:11. There is a website, and I will post it on. I'll post it on Facebook and on YouTube. There is a website that they can kind of explain the intent behind it, and maybe help with some ideas for how to plug in and maybe some thought processes. So please, guys, I will. If you want, check it out because I'll post that. So we have another question, and it's regarding the ascension. Someone asked about the plants and the animals. Will they ascend with us?
Let's see. So the information that's been coming out of sessions has been that there are already plants over there, there's animals over there, and that when the wave happens, I haven't heard anything about animals dying or anything like that. I haven't heard anything about plants dying. I haven't heard anything about plants shifting. I haven't heard anything about animals shifting, only because, as I said before, this is the information that comes through my clients. If it's of interest to them and they're asking about it, then we ask about it. Unless the higher self just volunteers the information, I'm probably not going to. I mean, I do have a certain level of leeway where I go a little bit deeper if it's something that I know the client is interested in, but I can't just do it for me. But I have been able to ask about pets, and I posted that information in my A Tale of Two Earths video.
Great video.
On YouTube. But basically what it is we have the ability to actually send out a net of love to anybody that we're interested in bringing with us during the ascension. So our pets, our animals, our plants, whatever, anything we look at with the eyes of love, we're aiding them in ascending themselves. So that's why it really bodes well to actually tap into this eclipse energy, which is unconditional love. Hold it within yourself and actually look upon the world differently with the eyes of love. And you are going to aid more beings in actually making that leap forward. So if you want all the cows to come, if you want all the giraffes to come, if you want all the bugs and the butterflies and everything to come, actually intend for that.
Or the husband.
Prepare for that.
Yeah.
Or the husband to come, yes. Or the dogs to come. You know, you need to actually start looking at these things with the eyes of love and casting a net around them to bring them with you, or to build a bridge for them to come on their own. That's what we're doing with these energies. With these energies that we're tapping into and anchoring here, we need to actually be the love that we want to anchor to the earth. So it's not just, I'm going to anchor it to the earth and then I'm done and I can go party and drink after the eclipse, although that sounds amazing. We actually need to actually be the love that we're anchoring and see the world as new. See the world with that love. So carry it with you. Carry it with you everywhere you go and in all your interactions. So we have a job to do. This is not just us being entertained and thinking that we're a part of this change only for a couple minutes at 11:11. No, we have a big job to do, and that's changing ourselves to match this energy.
So we have to wear
it. Raising your own vibration. Yeah, you have to wear it. You have to have it permeate your whole system, and that's how we ensure that others can come along the ride. So yes, have it permeate your system, wear it like a cloak, and then see the world with the eyes of it. So see your dog with it, see your husband with it, see your kids with it, see your parents with it. And that allows for them to come.
And we are running out of time. We want to, we could talk forever. And Madeline has just written a question about ascension being a state of mind, not a location. Is there more? Yes, there's much more. We need to do more shows. So Allison,
on this, I know.
We're going to have to invite you back. We want to thank you so much for coming on. This is Allison Coe that's been joining us via Skype. Her website is soulfocus-hypnosis.com. She is a wealth of information, a beautiful soul, light worker, metaphysical mom, and thank you for joining us today to help remind us to do exactly what you just so beautifully said.
I'm just laughing because I was getting that whole last idea. I was getting ready to quote you because I thought, okay, I heard somewhere that we can bring people with us. And it's like, I'm so glad I didn't.
Yeah, you just said it. And thank you for joining us on Facebook Live.
Yes.
Please share, do your work. Join us on Monday to ground this energy.
And if you want to hear this again, we are also over on YouTube, and it's JoyRide Show with the Metaphysical Moms on YouTube. So come over there and subscribe to us and like us. We're going to do some more in between show things, little snippets here and there. So
thank you
over
guys.
and check it out.
Bye. Oh, hi, Birdie.
Allison. Thank you so much.
Bye,
Can
guys.
I just say thank you guys for everything. You are doing such a great job spreading the word and about these meditations, about the mass meditations. Thank you so much.
You're
this
welcome.
is amazing.
Thank you.
Well, thank you. We're a good team.
And thanks for everybody.
Go get some
Yay.
sleep. Bye.
Yes.